Hi everyone, today we're going to learn how to draw realistically using oil pastels. Oil pastels can be a tough medium to create realistic paintings with, but today we'll learn how to use them to achieve a realistic look with minimal cost and even low-quality tools. Materials I used. Smooth gray paper, not rough. There's a myth that you need to use rough paper for oil pastels so that the paper can absorb more color. This is not true. It will take a lot of time and effort to fill in the paper's pores, and this applies to both oil and soft pastels. Bunches of oil pastels in thin and thick finger shapes. Oil painting palette knife. Blending pen. The first thing we do in the drawing is to establish the lights first. This is specifically why we use colored paper so that we can create the lights ourselves. Next, we start coloring with skin tones from light to dark. Each color we put on melts the color underneath and blends with it. In this portrait, I tried to focus more on the large areas and the areas of light and shadow than on the details of each element in the portrait. More important than choosing the right color is to focus more on the light and shadow in the drawing. We can say that paying attention to the value of the color is more important than the color itself. Every time you add a new color to the drawing, you'll need to go back and check on the black color. There is a rule in portrait coloring. The portrait is divided into three main parts. The first part is from the eyebrow to the beginning of the hair, and is always slightly yellow in color. The second part is the cheek area and is always slightly red in color due to the presence of more blood vessels in this area. The third part is the chin area and is always slightly blue or green in color due to the presence of small hairs. A secret that not many people know is that after distributing light and shadow and defining the colors in a preliminary way, I consider this to be the first layer, and I use a heat gun to fix the colors on the paper. Oil pastels are basically made of wax and therefore are affected by heat. So when I use a heat gun, the color melts and sets on the paper. However, this method has a drawback. The color darkens after being exposed to heat. The advantages of this method are that it allows you to put more detail into the painting, and even white can be easily placed over any color. That's why the best time of year to paint with oil pastels is summer. If you are right-handed, you will need to work on the entire portrait from left to right and from top to bottom so that your hand does not touch the colors and so that you can see the whole painting. You can use a pencil to draw the eyelashes, eyebrows, and small details. We use the knife to scrape the color off the painting to create details, especially in the hair and eyebrows. We can also use it to correct mistakes by removing the wrong color. We use blending pencils to create small details and clean them by writing on them in a white paper. After finishing the background and clothes, I draw the small, fine details on the face, such as the eyes and mouth. Unfortunately, while drawing, I made the right eye too big. But I corrected this mistake in the end and made it a bit smaller. This is one of the problems that people who draw with oil pastels face, especially in very large areas. It is true that you can use turpentine instead of a heat gun to fix the color, using a brush or cotton swabs. I hope you've learned something from today's lesson. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Bye bye.